Hey, what are you doing? That's my book. What are you doing? That's my book. You're in my video cast. You're using my book. Hey, get out of my video cast. That's my video cast. Come here. Get out of there. I apologize for those earlier moments in my video cast when my good friend Norbert came for a visit. He so loves playing in front of the camera, so I really apologize for that. And now we're going to move forward with my video cast, which pertains to this book, The Glitch Factory, Perfectly Human in an Imperfect World. I'd like to share with you one of the stories. It's called The Water Cycle. Enjoy. Cut. Oh, it looks like we've hit the open road, out on a bit of a journey. I have just the thing to keep us amused. Margot List, defined simply, was a Model 2-1 with no affixed label. Her next-door neighbor was a tad more intriguing. Brave, thought Margot, in the label she had created for herself. Brave could be seen in her wildflower meadow forefront lawn, popping the hairy heads off the dandelions that grew in a relegated patch, tasseled bundles on carpeted coverings, blades of green, purples, and dark mosses. She knew the names of every flower in her beds and kept a native species. This neighbor woman spent hours in her damp, minimally lit basement concocting her own brand of tangy dandelion wine, year unknown. She loved to share her vintage, swirling it in the mini-clear plastic wine glass while commenting on the viscosity of the legs. Mary Cassiette, lawn vineyard specialist and gifted watercolor painter, would then set up tastings for this yellow liquid that bore too close a resemblance to urine. It was rumored that the distinct and rather pungent scent of the territorial markings of her dog, Stick, seemed to tinge the aromatic essence of the imbibing fluid. She offered to enrich the adventure, or nullify the palate, by serving blocks of delectable foreign cheeses, speckled with herbs and dried cranberry bits, next to a solid, uncompromising wedge of orange. Margot and the people who resided in the circle of the dead-end street all attended the wine and cheese event, putting on a lavish display like fanned peacock feathers of neighborly goodwill. The potted plants and bushes received a generous soaking from the guests on those evenings. If asked, the dandelion wine lady would crinkle her brow line of an eyebrow and maintain that Margot was a plush and invested mother of two, a sweet woman. The innocuous children of the List household looked as though they were constantly in the throes of high gusting winds, according to the local hairdresser, who took issue with strands that shied away from good coiffing. Margot also was the wife to one man, having beaten the odds and flouted the statistics for divorce rates while demurely sidestepping expectations from a surround sound of friends who engaged in the matrimonial splits. Late at night, she indulged in the guilty pleasure of me time, that mouth-watering, sinfully decadent chocolate truffle of personal space, where she warily circumnavigated the minutes, hours, and templates of time. The waypoints on the cartography of the day. Want to hear some? Margot asked her BF as she untangled long brown tresses from the overly large loop of her left earring. Lucida, the BF, was a lovable diva. She wore a style of dress, color-blotched skirts sweeping out under prim, pristine white blouses that had resulted in her disenfranchisement from any advice on outfits. She did not even faintly care and continued to rustle the dust bunnies and skim the floors with her bold, feathery fabrics. Margot liked this about her. They held their mobiles close to their ears in defiance of any scientific proofs that this would lead to tumors as they girded each other with chit-chat. Coffee stain on my white blouse from this morning's cup of joe. Hopefully this brought out the color of my eyes, Margot said. Their too loud laughter dented the air, releasing a whirling dervish of sound from a cell phone transmitter tower, while a brackish youth in hooded garb augmented his ears with music from the slim mobile that he used for yet another purpose. My report presented to the president of the company went well. Margot flipped the dial on the oven to 350 degrees and a red light appeared, a dot on the white metal face next to printed black letters that indicated on. You get to keep your job then, for now, says Lucida. The arrow of this reply missed the bullseye that was light, friendly, post-work banter, overshot the target connection, and landed in a reeking, shallow swamp of barely sufficient support. Margot propped their conversation up on crutches and carried on. Did you get my email about the dinner party next weekend, Lucida? Does Frank have the kids? If not, they're welcome to come too. Jacob and Sarah would love to see them. I'll be there. Send me the details. I'll check the calendar and hope that the kids can come for the party also. The oven was up to temperature as the wired appliance secreted a persistent beep in excess of kitchen sound. The beep, beep, beep hyperbolic, making enough of a surplus sound to be bottled and stored, alarm preservatives opened in moments of burnt offerings or discordant combinations of ingredients, rendering liquid or cold by too low a temperature. She pitched the dinner over the home plate and into the oven. Last night's leftovers occupied a space of honor on the black wrought iron platform of the oven rack, lit by the celebratory red glow of the heating coil. The show goes on. The two women shot out their goodbyes and returned to their respective geographies, ready for the night safari. Open-air jeep ride through the evening, the trek over the savannah inhabited by carnivorous cutlery, disdainful dishes, and into the rapacious routines of chores, homework, and healthy lunches. Margot would continue to landmark her day, if only as a means to an end for maintaining a facsimile of self. The children, Jacob and Sarah, made her life richer even as they intermittently fought over chores. This, she knew. She interceded in the lunch fixin' brawl, desalinating the air with calm repose and the promise of tech shutdowns for both kids. Somehow lunches still got made and dishes were done. The dog did not eat the missing homework page, but the recycling bin did. The simple answer was that Sarah was getting older. She needed her own desk and a space in which to study. Everyone dined together to enjoy dinner and conversation. A miracle, Margot concluded. Exhausted at the end of this day, she exchanged zombie-like interactions with hubby. He was like a ghost. They would need to revisit couple time at a future date when she felt more like a warrior princess or a sultry gypsy girl. Now, she thought, she would forage through the lush tropical jungles and humid climes of social media in search of her own personal brand of food for thought and soul. This could prove to be a refreshing paddle in the long boat of technology along the Wi-Fi stream of conversation and visuals. She knew not to feed the trolls under the bridge that threatened to rise and rain down. On this night, she discovered a writer's block. Upon clicking on the tab, she was led to a digital encounter with a rare species of writer who waxed and waned with phrases of maroon, the color of choice for the font in his text. He had posted a rather amusing and wholly phantasmal question: what if an elephant, for one day, from sunup to sunset, could converse eloquently after drinking from a magic waterhole that gave him the power of speech? What if the sole listener on that epic day was one very young child? A child who did not understand the complexity of the articulations, the metaphors, or the subtle nuances of the words. Let the story begin, he finished. Margot was pleasantly puzzled by this question, as her thoughts meandered too. Well, thanks for the lift. That was a great drive through the countryside. I hope you enjoyed my company and an excerpt from The Water Cycle, which is one of the stories in my compilation of stories from the Glitch Factory. Perfectly Human in an Imperfect World. I hope you enjoyed the reading and stay tuned for more video casts. Maybe Norbert will pop in or not, we'll see. And you can get my ebook from these places, or you can order the print book from myself on my website, www.glitchfactory.com, and I can send it out to you. Thanks again and have a great day.